Hello, my friend. It's Bonnie Brindle, the Anxiety Avenger here, welcoming you back to Functional Fitness Over 50. So we are in week 3, and this is lesson 1. Before we begin, I just want to remind you about props that might be helpful for you in this foundational exercise. It's a Pilates ball, which you can inflate, not fully, but leave a little squish on each side, which can be useful when we are working on keeping our energy toward the midline by putting it between the knees. Sometimes we do exercises with it between the ankles. And another option could be a yoga block. Not quite as squishy, as comfortable, but not bad. As the Pilates ball, you can always use a yoga block to help between your knees to, again, focus on bringing your legs toward the midline. It could also be used between the ankles. In addition, when we do our roll-ups, we could set together a couple of belts, put a couple of belts together so you have a long enough strap to help you with the roll-up. And if you have stretchy bands at home, the long straight ones, it can be any weight that feels comfortable for you. But these rounded bands that stay together, you might want to work on the light one for the roll-up. But this can be used as well, and I'll demonstrate it a little bit later. So since this is week 3, we're going to start right in with some of the exercises we've done in weeks 1 and 2 and not take quite as much time with the modification for each of those, as if you need to work with the modifications for those and bring yourself up to speed if it's been a while since you've worked out, or if Pilates type exercise is brand new to you, or if you have any injuries from which you're recovering. You want to make sure you definitely start with week 1 and get the week 1, 2 videos under your belt so that you're comfortable, you understand how they work, and you can pick the level that you work at those. And I will continue to show different levels of exercise. But here in week 3, we'll have a little more advancement, and I'll be putting in a couple of new exercises that we haven't done in those previous weeks. Okay? So let's get after it. Okay, you've got your mat, and you want to turn your body so that you have your feet flat on the mat, and you're going to roll yourself back carefully to just start with a couple of pelvic curls. As before, arms are down by your side, triceps pressing into the floor so that upper body is doing some work while the lower body is working on the pelvic tilt. When you engage your core and flatten your back to the mat, rolling your hips up, that's a pelvic curl. And then a pelvic extension is to allow those hips to roll back out with a slight arch in the back. So you're stretching your tailbone toward the floor and then rolling up again and out, rolling towards you again, really activating that core, keeping the ribs knit together and out. It just gives yourself a little bit of a pelvic warm up, letting the core know that work is coming, that's going to feel so good. And just rock it back and forth a little bit here. And then today we're going to start with an exercise that classically begins a Pilates class. Generally, we start in a classical Pilates class with an exercise called the hundreds. And with the hundreds, don't worry, it doesn't mean you have to do a lot of difficult exercise 100 times, but we do 100 breaths with the hundreds. So we're going to start today with our feet on the floor, and our head and shoulders are going to stay down. We're just going to lift the arms here for a moment. One of the important parts of the hundreds is that we use the arms to pump. And you'll be amazed at how this one exercise warms up your whole core and gets the body ready to work out. So the arms are important. They stay straight with the fingertips reaching out, and they're just pumping. Okay, next level is to do that with your legs out straight and your ankles flexed. Keep pumping. Breathing in as much through your nose as possible. Deep into your diaphragm, stretch it down and press it back up. Nice deep breaths. Okay. The next level for the hundreds is to bring those knees to tabletop. The 90-degree angle of the hip and knee, and continue with the arms, just like that. Breathing smoothly in and out. This is where I want you to keep it for today, but I'm just going to show you what it looks like as you can progress later on. So the hundreds are normally done with the head, neck, and shoulders up, abs engaged, arms pumping, legs here at tabletop or out here at 45 degrees. And then if you want to look up a video of Joe Pilates doing this, he did that with the legs out straight, not touching the floor. That's an advanced exercise of the hundreds. But we're here right now. Back is flat, feet are flat, arms are out, and just pumping them. If you want to lift up the chin to the chest and curl the chin forward toward the chest with your abs engaged, that's going to be plenty for your first experience with the hundreds. Okay, so we're going to move on now to chest lift, which you have done before. Arms are behind your head, elbows out wide. The back of your head is resting into your hands, knees are together, and if you want to use your Pilates ball or your yoga block or even a stuffed animal you can borrow from a grandchild, go for it. Arms are out, elbows are out flat on the floor, head's resting back, so the head rests back in the hands. And all we're going to do here is lift up using the core to lift us up, bring the chest forward and down, and make sure, this is a really good spot to make sure that you are allowing the weight of your head to rest back in your hands. As you exhale, inhale down. Abs engaged and ribs knit inward and down. Lift, 3 more. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, and 1 more. Good job. Okay, now we've also done chest lift with rotation. My words are just not with me right now. Chest lift with rotation. So again, we're going to lift the chin toward the ceiling just a little bit and then curl toward the chest. Rest the weight of the head back in your hands, and then bring the left armpit toward the right knee. Are your abs engaged? And back, and then the right armpit toward the left knee. Chest lift with rotation. You don't want to close your elbows in. Try to keep them out. So none of this. This is not what we're looking for. The elbow stays back here. The armpit comes across to the knee and down. And in this exercise, if you happen to be ready for the next level, as you're coming across, you're going to stay up in the center and then across to the other side, up in the center. You can try that once or twice and you'll really feel it. So do what you can there if you want to try it, and then you can go right back to resting the center and then crossing the other side. 1 more each side. Breathing through that nose and down. All right, so that is chest lift with rotation. From here, we're going to go to the 2 types of spine twist. In week 2, we just had a quick taste of the spine twist forward, but we have before done the spine twist supine, and we'll do that now. So you can keep your ball or your yoga block, whatever, between your knees or not. And if you don't choose to use one of those things, you can just bring your knees together at the midline. Really important in here in this exercise that we keep those thighs and knees in toward the midline. They're going to stay together. And we're in our tabletop position again. And you can push your arms out to the sides on the floor for support here. So engage that core, knit those ribs, and just allow both legs, knees together, to go one side and then the other. And when you're over to the side and you're about to come up, you want to activate whoosh, right here in your core. Over again to the other side, hold, activate your core, your obliques to lift those knees back up. 3 more each side. 1, 2. If you want to make this more challenging, you can bring your arms down to your side. Press your triceps to the floor. It's a little harder to keep your torso quiet without your arms out to the side. Again, to the side, using your core to come back to the middle. Other side, and use your core back to the middle. And then that 1 more on each side. Good work. All right. And over. Nice, quiet torso on the floor. The only thing moving there was the hips. Excellent job. And again, you can have both your arms out to the side with that exercise, or this is away from you on each side. And then here you're in close. It's much harder to keep your balance, and it takes more core flexibility and more core strength to hold yourself here. So you start where you're comfortable, and then you move up to the next level. Today we're going to go into a spine twist seated as well. So bring yourself up however you do that, and we've looked at that in earlier videos where you can either roll yourself up or push yourself up from the floor after rolling over to your side, whatever works best for you. Okay, so here we're going to go from seated into the single leg stretch. So you're going to move your legs so that your feet are flat on the mat to start with, and then you're going to roll back down toward the mat and bring one knee in. We'll say I'll bring the right knee in this time. And the left leg is going to go out straight. When the right knee is in, the left hand is at the knee, the right hand is at the ankle. And we're going to switch. So when we switch, then the right hand goes to the left knee. And when you're reaching that leg out, push it out like a dagger. Really mean it. Stretch that leg. So in Pilates, we've talked about the opposition of how the body is working. You're pulling in on this leg. You're using your arms, your elbows are out to the side, and you're stretching forward with that other leg at the same time. You can speed that up a little bit. And if you're comfortable here, you can chin to the ceiling, chin to your chest, keeping those abs engaged, and out and out and flex and reach. 2 more, whether your head is up or not. 1 more. Excellent job. So when we're reaching out there, we want to really push that leg as far as we can in that single leg stretch, while we're also bringing that opposite knee all the way in. So now we're going to work on the roll up. I'm going to do one here to show you what they look like from the floor, but we're going to start the work from seated and then go back. So from the floor in a roll up, you're out straight, your feet are flexed, your arms are overhead. Oop, there's a dog behind me, Shara the dog. The arms are overhead, and you're going to lift your head, neck, and shoulders with your arms, keeping your arms as close to your ears as you can, while the heels stay on the mat, and you're rolling that spine as if you're reaching out over a beach ball. So it doesn't come up flat, it comes up rounded. We're going to start here. So with that roll up, we can use the belt that you may have put together on your feet here, with your legs out straight, feet slightly apart, shoulders back, abs in, and pelvic curl down to the floor, and then chin to chest, roll yourself back up. You don't want to come up with a flat back here. You want to take your time and really curl, curl, curl over that beach ball on your lap, and then reach forward, head down. You might also, if you happen to have the stretchy bands, I'll show you that one. You can put it over your feet, whether this is a circular one or you have two ends, doesn't matter. Over your feet, shoulders are back, sitting up straight, pelvic curl, roll to the floor, heads down, and then lift your head, neck, and chest. Use that band to help you a little bit, to pull yourself up, and each part of your spine, let it roll, 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 as if you're over a beach ball, and then lean forward, head down. Get that nice stretch in there. One more time for the roll up. This is just your supported roll up using the band. Helps you get to that place where you can start to do it without. But we don't want to force doing it without any support and then end up getting into our backs, right? We want to get strong enough first and then go toward trying it without support. So now we'll go into rolling like a ball. So if it's from sitting up, also we're going to start this one from the position we want to reach. So you're sitting up straight to start with. Then you're going to round your back and your feet are on the floor, wherever you can comfortably get them toward your seat bones. That might be out here right now. It might be here. You might be able to really pull them in. Wherever you can, comfortably pull them toward your seat bones. Today will look different than another week and another month from now on this exercise. You'll get better at it. The hardest part when you first start is to roll back and not get stuck here. I've been stuck here many times. And then the other part that's difficult is when you do get to where you can roll back and roll up and to keep the balance without putting your feet down. So if this is a brand new exercise to you, let's just work on the balance. Your hands are coming toward your ankles from the outside. Your feet are together. Your back is rounded. Your heels are in toward your sit bones, wherever that's comfortable. And then just tilt yourself back far enough that your feet are a few inches off the floor and balance yourself. That's the hardest part. That ab work, that core control gets developed by working on the balance here. And then give it a shot. With your head between your knees, just allow yourself to roll back without hitting your head down to the floor. The head stays slightly off the floor. And then see if you can get back up in that position. And if you get stuck back there and start flailing around, don't worry, everybody does when we start doing this one. But keeping yourself rounded, roll back, roll up, and then do the best you can to keep that balance, because often we'll go back, come up with too much momentum, and boop, the feet hit the mat. And that's okay too. That's part of the practice. You'll get better at it. So rolling like a ball. 3 more times, whatever that looks like. Roll back, roll up, engage that core to keep your balance so your feet don't touch if you can. And don't worry if you get stuck and have to push up. You'll get better at it. It's a really fun one once you get it so that you can keep yourself rolling. I really enjoyed that one a lot. Okay, so still on our backs, but we're going to work on our glutes, hamstrings, and shoulders here. So we're going to go into bridging now. So laying back on the mat, again, arms are on the floor and triceps are active. You're not just laying here with your arms flopped out. Shoulders come back and the triceps are activated. Feet flat on the floor, fairly close to your seat bones. If you want to use one of your midline helpers there, go ahead and put that between your knees. I really like that with the bridge. And then you're just going to lift up from underneath. You're going to use your glutes and hamstrings and your core to lift your butt off the floor. If you can come up just a little bit, that's great. If you can come up further, lift up to wherever you can hold yourself. And then roll down, roll your spine down. Again, roll your spine, lift from that pelvic curl into squeezing your glutes and hammies to keep your butt up off the floor while your triceps are actively working. And then again, from one vertebra at a time, roll your spine back down all the way till you are at neutral pelvis with that slight arch in your back and tailbone toward the floor. Let's go for 3 more. Roll your pelvis up, lift as high as you can, hold it here a minute and breathe. Excellent. And then roll it down one vertebra at a time till you get to your sacrum, your tailbone. Again, pelvic curl, push up and roll down. And pelvic curl, roll it up and roll it back down. Excellent. Okay. We have further to go with those bridges, but for today we're going to leave it at that and go into leg circles. So you can put down your ball or your stuffed animal or your yoga block for the moment, and we're going to go into leg circles. So in this case, we're going to start with the left leg. So the right leg's going to go out flat on the mat with your foot flexed, and the left leg is going to come up, using that core to lift that left leg up. You may be here at a 45-degree angle. That's totally fine. Later on, after lots of practice, you'll be able to keep this one leg on the floor while the other leg is up at 90 degrees. That's not today. That's fine. Don't worry about that. What we need to pay attention to here is activating the core, flexing this foot, and it's going to go around in a circle and back to the top. So crossing over the midline, down, around, back up with a full stop. Down, around, and up. Down, around, and up. This is usually done 5 times on each side, so I think this is number 4. Down, around, and up with a full stop. And now we're going to go out, down, across, and up in a reverse. So down, around, and up in reverse. There you go. Here's 3. Keeping that foot flexed is classical. 4. Sometimes I point my toe. And 5. Excellent job. Bend that leg and put it down on the floor. And if you find that keeping the bottom leg on the floor and lifting this leg is particularly difficult, you may want to allow this leg up a bit, bend this knee a bit with the foot flat on the floor. That may help you to elevate the other leg for the circles. Okay, so this is a modification. Normally the bottom leg is out straight, but modifying here is fine. So you can flex this other foot you haven't done yet. It goes across the midline first, down, around, and up. It's not a really big circle, kind of a small circle with a stop. Here's 3. Good. Keeping that, that ball and socket of the hip, that joint working. That's 4, I think. And your last one. And then reverse, going out, down, around, and up, full stop. 2. Breathing. 3. Triceps supporting you on the floor. 4. Breathing. And 5. And back to center, bringing that leg down and bending that knee. Okay, so now for side kick series. We're going to roll over on your side and either up on your elbow with your legs out straight. Make sure I'm in the right spot here. Legs are out straight, up on your elbow, or your arm can be straight out and your head resting on your bicep. What we're going to work on here is the control of the core. We're going to engage the core. And if we're up here on the elbow, the control of keeping the torso lifted and not letting it sag down to the floor. And your head comes fairly straight off of the spine. I see a lot of people do these exercises with their neck cranked up here. You want to keep that your head coming straight off of your spine while you do these. So it's a lot to think about all at once at first, but don't worry about it, you'll get it. So legs are out straight. This hand in front is for balance, to keep the torso from wobbling too much. While those legs are out straight, just move them maybe 6 inches forward. There you go, okay? And then lift the top leg with the foot flexed. So this is the first side kick. So if you're up here on your elbow, engage the torso. If you're down flat, just be sure you're engaging through your abs, through your whole core, but not necessarily lifting. So we come forward with a flex foot and then back with a pointed foot, keeping the torso down to the hip, really steady. So you may not come really far forward, that's fine to start with. Come forward to where you can and point back to where you can, keeping the integrity of your torso. That's the most important part. You want to keep that lifted up off the floor, flex to the front, point to the back. I'm going to go down here on the bicep again. Flex to the front, point to the back, and using this hand to keep yourself from wobbling. Good job. 2 more. Point back, flex forward, and point back. Well done. Okay. And then that leg is going to be on top of the other again. Again, check your position. If you're up on your elbow, don't sink into it. Don't flop down here. Lift up on your shoulder, lift up on your torso, lift up on that leg. And we're just going to lift and lower. Lift and lower. It doesn't have to go up real high. You just need to be steady and intentional and not throwing yourself around so your torso stays nice and quiet. 1 more here. Excellent job. And then we're just going to lift that leg again. This time, rotate the femur bone so that the toe is pointing to the ceiling a bit and down. Pointing up and down. Oops, I've lost my torso a little bit. Let's lift that up. Toes up. 1 more. Excellent. Well done. Okay, then we're going to flip over to the other side. So I'm going to turn this way. Again, you can choose whether you are here, down here with your arm out straight and your head on your bicep. Oops. There we go. And your legs are out straight, except for maybe bringing them forward about 6 inches. Okay. Shira, stay. The dog wants to move. So the top leg, it's going to flex that foot while you're down here with your head on your bicep. This hand is at the front to keep us from rolling about through the torso. Okay, I'm going to lift that leg slightly up off and come forward with a flex foot and back with a pointed foot, and forward with a flex foot and back with a pointed foot. And if you're up on your elbow, make sure that you're lifted there and through the torso. Flex and point. Nice quiet upper body, nice quiet hip. All that's moving is that leg. Flex forward, point back. Use that stability from that hand in the front. 1 more. Flex forward, point back. Well done. Okay, and bringing that foot down on top of the other. Again, if you're here, lifting up through the shoulder, lifting up on the torso, lift that leg up. And it's just a gentle lift and lower with intention, not momentum, not throwing it around. Nothing is moving except that leg. Nice deep breaths. Keeping your torso lifted up through your shoulder if you're here. 2 more. And 2. And now we're going to just take that leg and roll it open through the femur so that the toe is pointing to the ceiling and down again. Same thing. Toe points up and down. Toe points up. Keeping those abs engaged, keeping that torso lifted if you're here. 2 more. 1 more. Woohoo! Way to go. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Okay, so for our last bit, we're going to roll onto our bellies. And we're going to do a little bit of the swan prep and then also some swimming with the legs. So with the swan prep for today, let's put the right hand down on the mat in front of us and the left hand on top of the right. Then the forehead goes on top of that left hand. Relax your toes. Relax your feet. Let your toes be on the mat. And activate that core so that like you have an ice cube under your belly. You are activating the core muscles and putting your head on your hands. And then just lift just a little bit at a time. You don't need to come way up on this, just what you can do. So keep your abs engaged. Roll your shoulders back, using that back to lift and lower. Abs are in. Lift and lower, really keeping control of that core before you lift up and down. Before you exhale and inhale when you're at the bottom, lift up and down. Challenge yourself to lift just a little higher if you can and hold it and then down. Again, that ice cube's under your belly before you come up. Lift up and down. Exhale up. Inhale down. 2 more. And see if you can hold on that last one for a couple minutes. And the elbows are out to the side. Lifting up just a little bit. Whatever you can do. If it gets to be too much, drop your head and hands. And take a big breath. Okay. And then while your palms are on the floor, your elbows are out to the side, your head can stay down a minute as you get ready. And then you're going to bring your head up just so that it is leading straight off of your spine. Abs in, glutes engaged. Lift those legs slightly off the floor. If you can, when we get to the next level, we're going to try to really lift the thighs up. But right now, just lift the legs off the floor straight wherever you can and swim. Keeping your elbows and your hands down on the floor to stabilize you. And your head just slightly off the mat with your neck out straight from your spine. And swim and breathe and lift those abs up off of that ice cube that's on the mat. Get that last bit of core strength, core building happening right now while we're working on the back end, while we're working on extension. Everything else when we do with the abs forward is flexion. This is the extension exercise. And down. And rest. Let your knees go out to the side. Push yourself up into child's pose, which you've done before. Reaching your butt to the back. Really letting yourself stretch and keeping your hands out there on the mat so that you're going to pull through your shoulders. A nice stretch through your upper back. Oh, that feels so good. Big breath. Cross one hand over the other and get a side stretch down into your obliques through that shoulder. And then the other side as well. Excellent job. Now as we go to come up, you can bring the elbows back to you a little bit closer. You want to really engage that core, bring that belly up while you're coming up in a rounded position. And stretch all through your spine and then up toward your neck so that your head comes up last. And your shoulders come back. Yes, you've done it again. Great job. I hope that you're feeling, now that we're in week 3, that you're making some progress from the very beginning and getting yourself balanced through these exercises. Again, you don't want to go to the higher levels of things until you have got control of your body at the first levels. So don't forget to go back and revisit the earlier weeks that we recorded before. And I will see you again next on the week 3 second video. Okay, great. I'm looking forward to seeing you then. Take care of you.